What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It's your boy Chris with If I'm Being Honest, and we are here with another review. It is Saturday, July 11th, and my hair is all messed up, and so I have to put a hat on. Times is hard. It's not actually, we'll just get rid of that because that's not working. As you know, my name is Chris, and we are going to introduce you to some of our new people we have going on here. Can you guys hear me? I can't hear anything.
Yeah, I can hear you.
There we
Can hear
go.
you.
So how's everybody doing today?
Good, good.
Pretty good. Pretty good. I've got a stacked up day after this.
That's my days are always insane these days, and I
Same.
don't understand
Same.
it.
There's not enough hours in the day.
No, there really isn't.
Nope.
And that's crazy coming from me where like right now up here we get about 18 hours of daylight.
Hmm.
There's no night here. So like we're there's just not enough time though, even though like it's light out.
Because you guys have the where it's just like months of just this complete sunlight and then months of complete darkness, right?
Well, so that's kind of further up north. Where I'm at is
Okay.
kind of southeast Alaska, and so uh, I get so probably closer to like from here on, we're gonna be losing like minutes of daylight. So by the time September, October comes around, we'll probably have anywhere between 4 to 3 hours of daylight that comes around noon.
Gotcha.
Yeah. But further up north, they have like a whole, I don't know, 60 to almost 90-day stretch of no daylight. And it's just nighttime up there the entire time.
One of my favorite movies plays on that one. We'll get to it. We're just a second. Let's go ahead and get into this our intro theme song, and then we'll get right. I can't speak today. We'll jump right back into this conversation.
All right.
Okay, we're back. As I said, it's your boy Chris. This is If I'm Being Honest, July 11th. We had a lot to talk about today. You guys heard and saw two of the new co-hosts. Let's start with Kateri. Go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. My name is Kateri Largo. I'm originally from Colorado. I'm a Ute Mountain Ute native from Colorado. I grew up on my reservation. Met Chris on my lively travels through life, and I am now currently in Juneau, Alaska. I do a lot of video gaming. I love movies. I watch a lot of TV, well, as much as I can. And I go to as many movies as I can, but being in Juneau limits you to a certain demographic of movies that they allow here. Our movie theater is, I think we only have like maybe 5 screens.
Oh wow,
And it's like the old style seating where like you're not like they'll make you pick your seat, but it's like the very old seats. So um I'm also in a very like white town, so there's a few movies that don't come out here that I'm like, oh my gosh, I would love for them to come out here, but they don't, just because they put what they think is going to sell, like Mario Party or Mario. The Mario movie was here for like 6 weeks.
oh wow.
Sinners was here for 2.
So I used to live in a town where I went to college at in
Okay.
Alamosa, and they had one movie theater that didn't show movies until 8 p.m. Monday through Friday. And then Saturday and Sunday was like all day, but during the weekdays, you had the movies didn't start until 8 o'clock. And so I get that.
That's where we're at too with the Monday through Friday. They also come during like the winter time. They only do weekends.
Oh, wow. Gotta love it. Gotta love it. And of course, you guys remember Brian from our last episode. How you doing, man?
I'm doing good. Hello, everybody. My name is Brian. For the ones that haven't met me yet, um, I was born in Florida. I'm half Jamaican. I just don't speak with my accent all the time. And currently residing in Missouri, close to Sikeston, where Lambert's is, that where they throw the rolls at you. So. But I appreciate everybody checking out the podcast, and we get down to business.
So I want to take a quick break, and let everybody know that this episode is sponsored by Doobie. It is a energy drink, powder form. So if you go to doobie.gg.com, you can get 10% off your order, any order, by using the code IIBH. The one personally that I'm using right now is a dragon fruit lemonade. It's a really good flavor. It's just one scoop, and you'll last the whole day, no jitters. It's perfect for gaming. Like I'm up all night, just one scoop. I can get in a really good gaming session and not have to worry about crashing in the middle of it. So today, there's a lot that has been going on um, in regards to Netflix. So I have a neighbor of mine, his daughters are obsessed with the Netflix games. So like I know a lot of people have like the Netflix games that you can download onto your phone. They have like their hit shows like Too Hot to Handle, um, what is that? Love is Blind, games that are
Suicide.
tied in that.
Yeah.
They have there's a Stranger Things game. They have all kind of things. Usually it's for your mobile. Well, lately Netflix has been getting into more television based gaming. So now they have games that are specifically for the computer and your TV that you go directly to your Netflix app. You can use your phone as a controller. And one game in particular is like this horror game, and they bring in like A-list actors to be a part of this project. And it's this insane thing. What do you guys think about Netflix getting into the gaming scenes?
I kind of looked at it
Um.
because we just recently had people over and we have a Switch too, and dealing with trying to figure out what games are appropriate for a kid. Um, I looked on Netflix and thought that that would have been a better choice had I seen that before. And because it just seemed like it was a little bit more like more kid friendly. But then I felt like then everybody has to have like a device in order to
Mm,
participate. So like a 7-year-old is not going to have a device. Well, at least this 7-year-old
right.
did not. Right. So like, what's the age? Like, what is the accessibility at that point for
Mm,
those types of games? It's only with people and kids with a phone.
correct. Brian, what you were saying?
Yeah. I sort of agree with uh, what she said. I also have a Switch too. But you got different games on there. Netflix is looking at priorities, I guess, the different stuff because Crunchyroll does the same thing now. You get games on their app that you can download, and everything is now is about microtransactions anyway. Like
I guess
ads
I'm in the minority because
that
I just
way.
have the original Switch. I didn't I haven't. My daughter's only 4, guys. Like I didn't see the purpose of spending $500 for a Switch 2. Um, but I found out that my TV isn't compatible with the Netflix game, so I can't even play them. I mean, I guess I
Oh,
could do it on my computer,
Oh,
but it's only compatible with certain TVs. Not every smart TV has the ability to do it, which kind of bummed me out. I was like, man, that sucks. But I do have a Fire TV, and they have Luna. Oh, is it a Luna? Their cloud-based gaming system, and you can go through and you can buy AAA titles that are console-based games like Assassin's Creed's on there. You can buy
ooh,
Halo
okay.
and Call of Duty and stuff like that and play it directly off the TV. But here, the thing with cloud-based gaming, what I think a lot of people have kind of like shied away from is that if you don't have a strong internet connection, and like it has to be stronger than a normal connection, it's very hard to play the game. But Luna has like a lot of party games on there. They had like this courtroom game where Snoop Dogg is a judge.
hmm.
And they just did an update where now Arnold Schwarzenegger as the Terminator is a judge.
Okay.
It's a party game, but same concept. You have to pair it to a phone, or what's great about Luna is you can take a PS5 or an Xbox One controller and pair that to the your TV via Bluetooth and use it that way. So you can play like all the games that are coming out on console, and as long provided you have a stellar internet connection, you can stream those games without having to have a physical console. So that's kind of dope.
Yeah, I also have the PS Portal, but I
Mm,
don't take it anywhere. So because of that whole, like, however the cloud for PlayStation works, if I were to take it down south, like anywhere in the lower 48, not in Alaska, I would lag out so bad,
mm.
because of that. So I can only have that while I'm in the state of Alaska. So I can only travel with it in the state of Alaska and use it. If I go down south, then I just take my big old laptop with me. Um,
Correct me if I'm wrong. The Portal has to be paired to a native PS5 in order to be able to play it, correct?
yes.
And I think
Yep,
that's
yep.
one of the Sony's biggest downsides. Like they hyped it up, it's like, oh, this is the next PS Vita, but really, if you don't have a PS5 and it's not connected, then you're basically doing what anybody else can do. Like I can play my PS5 games off my phone if I wanted to, but it's, why spend another $300 on that when I already got a $1,200 phone that I can do that with, right?
Yeah. Um,
Yep.
it was a gift. I have so many devices. I don't know what to do with them, guys. Um, and I just kind of do what I can with whichever device that I can do with it. Because there's so
I
many
mean, if
options
you want
now
to,
to play games. There's so many
Oh yeah.
definitely.
conveniences. Like and then like I try to like one thing is like one I don't play games on my phone. I have one game on my
Mhm.
phone, and it's the game that I use while I work out. And I only use it while I work out, so that it like because it just like resets, and everything that I do
Uh,
in the game is during my workout, and I timed it so perfectly that it's the entire length of my workout. So playing it feels awful without working out. I've tried it. Um, so I have all.
uh,
That's why I have all the like. I like having all the other devices or the um options, all the options that I have, because then I don't have to limit myself. But then I'm carrying a backpack,
mm.
look like a merchant because I have all my shit with me.
Since we're on the subject of cloud gaming and gaming in general, there's news this week that Sony plans on cutting physical copies of games starting in 2028. Now, as we know, we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Grand Theft Auto 6 and 2K, Take Two Games, 2K, Rockstar, and all that. They've already said that when Grand Theft Auto 6 launches in November, that it's going to be discless. But Sony is following suit that all of their games are going to be discless starting in 2028, which is a big deal because if you look at the way Sony does things now, you can't purchase a digital game from Sony unless you go directly to the PlayStation Store. You can't walk into a Walmart and pick up a little digital card like you can Nintendo or Xbox or PC. You can only buy that game from Sony. So they're going to control everything. And we're talking games like any future sequels to like the Spider-Man games, Uncharted, things like that. All the big games, and they're going to control 100% of the profit, which is insane to me. Um, how do you guys feel about the like everything going to a digital kind of spectrum?
So like I don't know if you remember like back in the day, like certain games that was very popular, got delisted from stores like the Marvel vs. Capcom 2 game, Marvel vs. Capcom Origins, Capcom
Mm,
vs. SNK 2. Like for a while, those games were not even playable. You couldn't get them. And then like you try to get the original versions, people selling it for outrageous prices on eBay and just different sites. Um, and finally it took a YouTuber, Maximilian Dodd, to sit there, come out with free Marvel vs. Capcom 2 campaign, and finally Capcom listened and did like a fighting collection for that with all the old classic, Marvel vs. Capcom games, X-Men vs. Street Fighter, X-Men Child of Adam, Marvel Superheroes. The same thing for the
mm,
Capcom vs. K games and other games that people want to see, like Power Stone and stuff. It's on Capcom Fighting
mm,
Collection too. But for a while, you can get the stuff after, online anywhere. So if you already had it installed and you was good, but if you didn't, you couldn't get the game. So you like if you think it was gonna be there next week, you couldn't get it. And then like the bad thing about not owning physical copies of certain games is like they could pull your ownership of it at any point in time. So and that's that's what makes people hesitant right now with Sony. So that's why I know Xbox is probably debating what they're gonna do, and Nintendo is probably gonna probably capitalize if they make their stuff physical. Um, my Switch too, I got some games that are digital and some are physical, but the games that are like I got both Capcom Fighting Collection 1 and 2, and the Marvel vs. Capcom Collection all on physical for my Switch too. I got Jump Force in physical for my Switch too, just because Jump Force you can't even get no more unless you buy it off of somebody or buy somebody's account that has it. So that's another thing that people should be mindful of. There's certain games that wasn't as popular that if you don't buy it now or you don't get the physical thing, you're not gonna have access to it.
mhm. It's funny that you mentioned that Sony that you remove ownership because they just made an announcement that there's over 400 movies that they're pulling from people's accounts that they paid for these movies. So I feel like that's going to be something that's going to be a huge thing going forward. And then the other ramifications to that is places like GameStop. GameStop thrives off of being able to go in there and pick up a used copy of a game or being able to trade your physical copy back in and getting the store credit and you buy other games with it. Now, I guess recently they started doing things like the Funko Pops that people are collecting and Pokemon cards and all those trading cards and stuff like that. But still, GameStop in its core is a game store. When you go in to their building, they don't even have a Microsoft section anymore because Xbox One for the most part is all digital. And so it's kind of like gone are the days of our childhood basically. If GameStop stores like GameStop is basically going to be coming to like one of those retro game stores where you can only find all the old stuff. Um, uh, Kateri, what are your thoughts on it?
I think that as soon as we started with movies and streaming movies and having a streaming service for movies and giving up like the actual rights to owning movies like on Amazon Prime or when Google was selling movies at one point. Like I know that they pulled all of the music that people have bought in on Google Play at one point.
Mhm.
I mean, it goes for a lot of things, right? So like once we started moving over to like streaming things, which it was like music. We started streaming music first, and like the like CDs no longer being a physical thing, and so like it's kind of just like moving through media, and it was only bound to happen to video games because of how it's moved through each media at a different pace and affecting everybody differently. And we kind of all just adapted. Like everybody just pays for their streaming services, and if people were smart, they would just pay for the streaming services and not buy movies. And I'm one of those unsmart people because I buy movies. I will buy a movie that I can download and have at any time. But I also acknowledge the fact that like if the rights get pulled from the company that I bought it for from like Amazon, or like they lose the rights to it or whatever, I no longer have access to that movie. And that sucks for me because I paid $20 or $30 for it whenever it came out. Um, but I mean, like that's an L that I'm taking. And again, we live in like a country of, where it thrives off of capitalism. So this just is kind of like that will that we all feed into, and that is ever turning. So that's my opinion on it. I just take that L, and they didn't take my money because I just make it, and I'm gonna live. I want to enjoy life, so
Right.
and if I want to enjoy it, it means paying into this bullshit system that we're living in, and that just means that I don't actually own anything. Um, one of my friends, one of my ex coworkers, she's a really good friend. She no longer works with me, but I was telling her, like, you know what movie I really want to watch? Fucking Spice World. I can't find that anywhere on streaming services. Why? Because of the music rights to that. Um,
Hmm.
and it's because, I don't know, maybe they're fighting over the music. And that whole movie is nothing but fucking Spice Girls' best hits, bro. So I'm like, I want to see that movie so bad. I miss it. It would make me feel like so nostalgic. And then this girl popped up with an actual DVD for me to watch. She bought it off of that, like I think Amazon or eBay. But now I got to figure out how the freak I'm gonna watch it. I ain't got nothing that's gonna play a DVD. I don't have a DVD player. How am I
So
gonna watch Spice World?
I have an app. It's called Just Watch. It's not sponsored, but if you guys want to go out and download it, it's called Just Watch, and you can type in whatever show, movie that you're looking for, and it'll tell you whatever platform. And then you're right, Spice World is not available, and the only place that you can currently buy a DVD is on Amazon, and it's $30.
My girl
So
paid
I
$30
have
plus whatever shipping to get it up here to Alaska for me. And I have yet to watch it because I have nothing to watch it on. I have nothing that will play DVD.
so I don't know if y'all know, but I keep it. I also watch a bunch of Japanese related shows, and it's telling like you just said how Sony was removing movies and TV shows that people don't bought. So in Japan, there was how we got Power Rangers over here. It was called Super
Mm,
Sentai,
yeah.
and Amazon and Shout Factory just pulled everything from the shelves. So you can't really order any of that. They pulled it from the streaming networks. Because it was on Amazon Prime, you can't watch them now. Because I think the license expired, and I don't know if they're gonna renew the licenses. So like that's in limbo now. So sometimes we get complacent and think something's gonna be available for everyone that's not. And then that was eye opening to me because one of my friends reached out. He's like, "Hey man, where I could watch alternative stream?" I'm like, "No." And I said, "What's going on?" And he told me, and I looked, and they put it off of Tubi, Amazon Prime. You can't really find the DVDs now on Amazon. If you do, now the price skyrocket from $30 to $40 to $500. So it's just like, okay, so that's another thing to be mindful of. You know, I'm glad you got the Spice World DVD before it really goes up in price. Just try to find you a DVD player, but that's just sad, like that certain stuff we can't have access to no more because of license issues, copyright issues, just different stuff.
And it's a lot of stuff is going towards that way. And I think the even on like a lot of current movies, they're not releasing physical copies of it. Um, I was just I filmed a movie last summer called Mauser, and we're gonna peep the trailer here in a little bit. I finally got a hold of that. Um, and there's not gonna be physical copies of it, and it's just because the distribution company doesn't want to put the money aside to make it, so it's only going to be available on streaming. And at this point, I don't even know if you can buy it yet, because it's going to be available for free to stream. So we'll see how that goes. We just had another one of our co-hosts join. Uh, Kristen, you still there?
Yeah, hi, I'm here. How you doing?
Good, good. Thanks for joining in the conversation. We were just talking about how everything is switching from physical media to digital. A lot of games, music, and movies are now these days are it's very hard to find physical copies of it because everything's going to a digital or streaming. And we were debating on how ownership affects that. Did you have any thoughts you want to add to it?
You know what? I was kind of listening in on that, and I was thinking about it. I was like, what happens when a streaming service like is canceled itself? You know what I mean? Like, probably won't ever happen. But like, what about like Prime or something like that ever goes down? Or Paramount or something like that, and then all of a sudden you're out of the money because that's how you bought your movie and or something like that.
So
I'm just like,
there actually is.
I, I don't
During the pandemic, there was an app, and for the love of me, I can't remember the name of it. But this app came out, and their whole thing was is that all these shows and movies that were available on their platform were filmed right? Vertically. So you're meant to be able to watch all the shows on your phone, like if you're scrolling through Facebook or TikTok or whatever. And the app launched and then the pandemic happened. So everybody is not on their phones because they're not out and about. They're sitting at home on their couches. So the whole app basically failed. So everything that they had on it, they had really good shows. There was, and they had big time actors like Kevin Hart had a show on there. There was a show, um, and for Lord of God, I can't think of the name of it, but it basically the premise of this show was like this guy was told he was dying of cancer, and he was like an entrepreneur. He didn't have a whole lot of money saved up. His wife was pregnant, and he was going to die supposedly before his son was born. And so he was given this opportunity to survive for 24 hours. Every hour that he survives, millions of dollars would be deposited into his account. And if he survived throughout the whole 24 hours, he would be able to keep all the money. Now, mind you, every 24 hours, when that money is deposited, his location is sent out to 5 assassins whose job is to kill him. Like legit, like he's running throughout, I think it was Detroit, and trying to survive these 24 hours while these highly trained assassins are it's the most dangerous game. That's what it's called. So they're trying to kill him while he's trying to survive for 24 hours to keep the money. If he dies, whatever money, however long he survived, that money will go to his wife and kid. And it's such a crazy show. They actually came out with a sequel to it, but when this app folded, all of the rights to the shows that they had just disappeared. And eventually, I want to say Tubi bought them. And so now you can watch them. You can still watch all their shows on Tubi. But for 2 or 3 years, they was just, in limbo because you couldn't get, like, you go to log onto the app and it's like they're not supporting anymore because the company went under. And I feel like it would be the same thing with if, let's say, Prime Video goes out, which Jeff Bezos has all the money in the world, so we don't have to worry about that. But hypothetically speaking, I think it would be the same thing, especially now that they own MGM. Let's say they release a new James Bond movie and then Prime falls under. Eventually, someone will buy it, but until that point, you're just SOL. You won't be able to watch anything that they're hosting. I would say. So moving on.
I'm just saying that sucks even more for like the end consumer. You know what I mean?
Oh, for sure.
Just
I've heard people who have lost access to like their Sony account, and any game that they've purchased or movie that they purchased via their Sony account, they have no hack. They don't have any access to because they can't get into it, and then you can't verify it. I had an issue with Apple with iTunes. You guys remember what happens in Vegas with uh, Cameron Diaz and Ashton Kutcher? I own that movie, but I can't watch it. Like I physically have it downloaded to my computer, and it tells me that I can't open it up because I'm not the owner of that movie because my Apple ID doesn't match, even though it's the same Apple ID I used to buy it. And I feel like that's going to be a lot of situations with a lot of people if they start losing these rights to support those movies. All right, so let's like I said, I mentioned I have the trailer to Mauser. This is not necessarily a world premiere because if you've seen it on my Instagram or Facebook or the production company's page, but here it is. This is Mauser. Now, I will preface this: I'm not in the trailer. I know it's a sad day, but when you guys go see the movie on Tuesday, even though I look like I'm not even gonna tell you what I look like because I want you guys to go watch it yourselves. Um, Go check it out. Here's a trailer of Mauser, and we'll be right back. Okay, never mind. It doesn't want to play. So if you want to see it as a trailer, go check out. If you look at the banner down there, our Facebook and Instagram is down, scrolling on the bottom there. You can go check out the trailer. It is on the If I'm Being Honest page. It is on my profile. It is on our TikTok page. It's on all the socials. Go check it out there. I'm really excited about it. I worked on this movie last summer. We shot the whole entire movie in 5 days. My scene, I have a like I play this character named Jolly, and my character basically makes the whole movie go. Like if my character wasn't there, like there's not going to be a movie. So I like to say that my character is the most important character of the entire film, and that's just me speaking. Don't take my word for it. Go watch it. It's going to be free on Fandango on Tuesday, and then 30 days after that, you can check it out on Amazon Prime Video, Dish Network, and Tubi, all for free. There will be ads unless you pay for the premium version, but go watch it. It's a good movie. It's won two separate awards already. So again, don't just take my word for it. Go check it out. Moving on. So we talked about video games. We talked about streaming. Um, right now, I live in Las Vegas, and the NBA Summer League is out here. It's a very big deal. I had to go pick up my daughter from the airport this morning, and it took me an hour to get to the airport and back just because of all the traffic. I'm like, these guys are probably not even going to play an NBA game ever. So, but whatever. But NBA is really big going on right now. Actually, and then the Aces just basically destroyed Phoenix just now. That's crazy. Um, but all the hype going around NBA free agency and the summer league. I know Brian, you had a lot you want to talk about it. So take it from here, man.
So, for our viewers that don't watch sports, I know you do know LeBron James, so that's one of the biggest things that is grabbing headlines. Is where's LeBron going to play? He's not going back to the Lakers. I know there's been three teams that have been talking about: the Cavs, the Heat, and the 76ers. Um, I would love for him to go to Heat. I'm a Heat fan. The Heat have a bunch of money to sign to give him, but he says it's not about money. Um, and the landscape has changed a little bit. Boston got rid of Jalen Brown, traded him to 76ers for Paul George. Um, the Heat traded Hero, Ware, Hami Haikaz. and like three first round picks to the Milwaukee Bucks for Giannis. And some other teams have people that flip flop, but those two are like one of the biggest names out there that, moved around. Um there's other stuff going on where um Kawhi Leonard got supposed to get traded, but right now that's on hold because he's under investigation, and so it's the Clippers organization. Um, you have where they traded Chris Middleton to the Washington Wizards. They re-signed Trey Young, so the Wizards might be up and coming. The Knicks lost some people from their championship team, so it's about to look a very different landscape in the NBA, and there's no telling who's gonna come out of the East. The West sort of pretty much stay the same. I know the Spurs just um got some good signings. The Lakers pretty much lost everybody they had from last year besides Austin Reeves, but they did get a big man in Luke Kessler that goes with Luka Doncic's play style if he stays healthy. That is. So there's just a bunch of information out there. If you are willing to get in sports, Sports Center is gonna be your best friend. Fox Sports, but I usually get my information for ESPN, and the app is free to download.
So it's funny that you mentioned LeBron might go to Miami. So again, the summer league is here in town in Vegas, and Miami's two biggest stars, Bam Adebayo and Tyler Hero, actually just got into a fist fight Friday evening over some comments that my Tyler Hero had said about Bam. Uh, so I think if LeBron's looking at that, he will probably want to stay away from that drama. And speaking of Vegas, there is a new group that put in a bid of north of $12 billion. That's billion with a B, to bring in a franchise to Las Vegas. Now, Las Vegas and Seattle were both approved to have for expansion teams starting in the
Yep.
2028-2029 season. And their current name that they have that they want to go with, if they're approved, is the Las Vegas Jacks, which I don't think sounds very good at all. It's like
Ah,
it's like let's go with the fourth strongest card in the deck, and we're gonna make that our team name. But again, you can't really call it the Kings because LA has a team called the Kings. You can't call it the Aces because you have the WNBA team, and the Queens would just be weird in NBA. So what
well,
else? If you
I
want to
would do
follow that suit,
something. I would say like Las Vegas Tornadoes or something like that would sound a little bit better than Jacks, but who knows?
You could lean
my
into
wife
it
said,
kind of heavy and do Las Vegas Royals.
they
Ooh, there
could
you
do
go.
that. However, there was a Royals basketball. No, that to Kansas City used to be the Kansas City Kings before they moved to Sacramento, and they have the Royals baseball. So yeah, they could do that. Um,
Yep,
I was telling my wife maybe the Spades, the Las Vegas Spades,
Las Vegas
kind of keeping
Spades.
it
Oh
with
yeah.
like a poker card theme. Um, a lot of people don't know that Las Vegas was really big on trains. There used to be trains that come through Vegas going from coast to coast. The original United Football League team was the Las Vegas Locomotives, based off of that history. So I would maybe even go that route and revive the Locomotives name. But the Jacks, you guys got to do better. It's a $12 billion NBA franchise, and you want to name it the Jacks.
Well, as far as for Seattle, I know Seattle used to have a team back in the day before they became the Oklahoma
Supersonics.
City Thunder. Yep. I remember they had Sean Kemp. They went against Jordan, in 1995 finals.
Yeah.
They made it to the Western Conference Finals against the Jazz. So, that's good that Seattle's getting something back as far as a basketball team. Um, so maybe, there might be other teams that get a basketball team in the
Why does
future
everything
that,
look frozen now?
So more than likely they're going to become the Supersonics again. That's what I'm hearing. Um, so we'll see. They still have this next season to go through, and there's nothing needs to be finalized until sometime next year before we can see anything. Like I said, it's still just 2026. They still got to get through all this season and next season before anything happens. So we'll see. With that being said, I know you guys all came here to see the review, our honest review of Moana. So let's go ahead and get to that.
I can go first.
But now you have my attention.
Well, we're waiting.
Are you ready, Jefferson? I'm ready. Just want to make sure you're ready, brother. Here it is. Show me the money.
And here we go.
Jump, or you're new to our show, we thought it'd be time to formally introduce our rating system to the masses. Fire or trash. But like Meat Mill says, there's levels to it. How hot or how not. Let's start with Spark. There are some signs of life here, and it had more good moments than bad. You might want to get this one on some video demand or something though. The next level is Bonfire. The movie kept me feeling good, and I would watch this movie again. And I also recommend it to others to watch. And the highest rating you can get is a Molotov cocktail. These movies are true greatness. It's uncontrollable and can't be stopped. Now let's flip the script. Trash Can. It's not good, but it gave me some good moments. I wouldn't recommend spending any money on it. Maybe wait till it's on Netflix. Some movies get the rating dumpster. It's definitely not a good movie at all, but it's not the worst thing I've seen. Could be some good background noise. Definitely does not want to get this rating, and if you do, it's a landfill. Do not pass go. Do not waste your time. There's nothing redeemable about this. And you already know who it is. It's your boy Chris from If I'm Being Honest. Make sure you smash that like button, subscribe for more great content. Whether you've been So I am. Obviously, I recorded that a long time ago. Luxurious locks here. So Moana live action. This was a project that was kind of pushed forward by Dwayne Johnson. There's a lot of backlash that I've seen over the last couple of days of this film. People that are for it, people that are against it. A lot of people are not really digging the fact that the original Moana is less than 7 years old, less than 10 years old, and it's already have a live action show, and it's mostly because of The Rock. He wanted to make sure this get pushed forward, and being rightfully so. I mean, he is of the Hawaiian Samoan descent, and it's he's really big on representation. He champions for a lot of Islanders, a lot of even on his black side, he champions for a lot of representation. So he wanted to make sure this live action version got pushed forward. He financed a lot of it. So when you have the money that he has, of course, you do what you want to do, right? So with that being said, Moana live action, it's just came in theaters officially today or yesterday. It's been out for a couple days. Crystalline, you said you want to start first. Go ahead. What was your thoughts on it? Well, it says she's offline, so let's flip it. Let's go to Kateri. What's your thoughts?
So I didn't go see it. It listen, guys, there are very few I have very strong feelings about Disney just in general. I love Disney movies, okay? There are very few Disney live remakes that you can actually get me to go see. I feel like the only live remake that Disney has done justice is Cinderella, and that one got shit on.
I can see that. I can see that.
Everyone hated it, and I was like, it's the closest one has stuck with the actual original train of thought of like what Cinderella was, even with the magical details in the cartoon. I think that they toe up Aladdin. So I just feel like even though they're gonna have The Rock in there playing Maui, I enjoy his voice more than I enjoy his actual physical being.
Yeah.
So also, like, you're bald. You're bald.
Right. Right.
And no amount of lace that they gonna put on your bald-headed butt gonna make me believe you Maui. I'm sorry. I don't care who you have in there laying down that weave on your forehead. I know that shit's Maui. Okay, so stop playing with me. There's too many hoops for me to get over for me, like, for
Ah,
just over The Rock in general, and then he advocated for himself to be in the movie. Why couldn't you advocate for our girl, the original Moana, to be in there?
Yeah.
Lighter version of the Hawaiians, but definitely representation. And I saw a
Right.
TikTok of the two of them together, and it just I wasn't sold. I wasn't sold. So I didn't see it. So this is just a very powerful opinion about the trailer. And I might give it a gander when it comes out on Disney Plus. We can circle back to Moa's opinion when it comes back then.
yeah.
But when Europe and Juno and the limited amount of movies that come up here, and Moana is one of them, and there's a billion kids here. There's just so many
Mm.
hurdles for me as a 37-year-old to get over when it comes to going seeing a kid movie the first weekend it comes out, and then it's trash. It
I feel you. I feel you. And it's funny you mentioned the hair. When I saw it, I had recently just rewatched Hercules that he did like 12 years ago, and I thought that's just Hercules with tattoos.
see
Yep.
uh,
Yep.
and I also think of the Scorpion King.
right, he had long hair in that too.
So, like, I'm sorry, I've seen you with hair. You look better without it, and I don't like bald men. You know this, Chris. So, like, no,
Dwayne, if
Brian,
you're
you
ever
not
watching this
bald, my
show, we
boy.
love
You
you,
not
bro.
bald.
You're a friend.
No.
Dwayne, like
We love you. We love
I
you,
love you.
Dwayne the Rock Johnson.
If you ever want to throw some money our way, we'll gladly take it. But the
I will
hair
take
has to
the
go, bro.
Dwayne, me and you can have a real intense indigenous conversation if you want to throw some money my way. We can talk about the native side and Hawaiians and things of that nature, and we can connect on that. But other than that, I do feel like Moana is. You need to stick to Kevin Hart. You know, like you and Kevin Hart. I watch those. I mean, I even fuck with
Speaking
the
of,
Furious
they
Five, like the Fast Five, like all them Too Fast, Too Furious movies, boy, them action blacks with the humor. State of that. There's
they
no
so
Disney
they
movie. We
they
just need
did
voice.
just finish filming the next what is that Jumanji. So he'll have another movie with Kevin Hart by the end of the year, summer.
Look, see, and he does well with Kevin Hart and Jack Black. Like, I need you to you're good in certain areas. I need you to and when
Stick
you're
with you know.
bald. You know what I mean? When you're bald, when you who you are all the time, not when you sticking. I know they're not comfortable. Boy, I know at the end of the day.
So it's funny. And we'll get to you, Brian, and you can get your view in a second. But during the filming of this movie, he had to actually wear a muscle suit because like he's big, but at the same he was filming two movies simultaneously where he had to lose a lot of weight. It's like a Martin Scorsese movie, and so he had to lose a lot of weight. And so, in order to be able to do both films simultaneously, he had to wear a muscle suit. So the muscles that you see in Moana are not his muscles.
Fake. So
So
fake
it's
hair, fake muscles. Rough. It's rough out here. Do the ladies notice? Do the rest of
honestly,
the world notice?
when you look at the movie, the final product, and you look at the trailer, you can't tell that it's not really his body. So like it's I mean it's silicone, so it looks real, but it's definitely a muscle suit. So ladies, when you go watch this with your children, or if you're going to watch it by yourself because you're just a huge rock fan, just know those aren't his real muscles. At least not in this movie.
Not the
Um,
BBL. The reverse beat, like the top BBL for the ladies is crazy.
he
Ooh.
went full BBL Drizzy on this one, yeah. Brian, what are your thoughts, man?
Okay, so I did actually go see the movie, and Katari, like, I get where you say you don't want to see it or whatever like that. You know, you wait till it come out. Me, I really don't care too much about certain live action remakes from Disney. I gave this one a shot, and at first I was gonna put it as a spark. Um, After watching the movie, um, I'm gonna change my rating to Molotov. So the reason why I'm doing that one is because yeah, there's slight changes from the animation or whatever like that, but the same thing that makes The Rock or Dwayne Johnson lovable with the the comedian part of it, that's in there. I had to give credit where credit's due. Now I didn't like how he didn't have the original voice actor of Moana in there. So but I went to see it with open eyes, open minded. And at first I didn't, when I was sitting in the movie theater, I'm like, man, okay, I'm like, I'm not gonna like it. But after the first part of it, everything went through where it starts going through showing the ancestors, the history, and everything like that, and then all the Samoans and the Hawaiian people he had in the movie, or whatever like that. So he did the people justice, and then it was just like me watching animation, the songs, everything was on point. It wasn't like he was trying to force anything. Um, I get sometimes that they say he's a difficult person to work with. So Dwayne Johnson, if you're hearing this, or you watching this, just know I understand. Everybody has a vision. Um, Also it helps that if you find the right director and producer, because
Mhm.
everybody has strengths, everybody has weaknesses. That's in any business, any facts of life. Um, we know he don't have hair no more. So, it didn't look too bad when watching the movie or whatever like that. You couldn't tell that it was a wig or anything like that. So like it was natural on his body. I can't really tell. I didn't even know he had a muscle suit on, to be honest, because it looked like his actual body. Speaking of what Chris talked about. The only thing, like I said, I have a gripe is should have just kept the original cast for the animation. But I understand he did what he had to do. I know there's been controversy about certain stuff. It was because Disney was talking about maybe making a Moana 3, and that he wanted to
Mm.
have like a big as much of a role just based off how Moana 2 ended. So they said that he might be in the movie, but he won't be as big as a big of a role, if that makes sense. So I think that's why he
Yeah.
sort of pushed this. I don't know if this is true, Dwayne, but that's what I heard. So I don't know, but I believe that everybody should give the movie a shot. It's worth the money. Um, you know, it's worth the money compared to Supergirl. Supergirl, I'll wait till it come out on streaming services. But as far as this movie, um, it hits home or whatever like that, and you might get a little bit teary eyed in certain parts or whatever like
Okay.
that. Um, and I had to be honest with that. It's sort of speaking to me and everything like that. So I'm like, okay. And it takes a lot for a movie to give me like that. Now, for me or whatever like that, anime gonna make me cry all the time when it show like certain stuff and everything like that. But movies really don't make me cry. But this one sort of did, and I'm just like, okay. And it speaks values because with all the stuff that's going out in the world, racism, wars, and everything like that, certain people don't have representation of culture, and this actually hit on the culture part of it. I know you mentioned
Okay.
Sinners earlier or whatever like that. Sinners was a good movie too. You know, and I think like sometimes Disney gets it right, and sometimes Disney gets it wrong. Lion King, I give it like a 6 out of 10. But for my actual rating, I had to give Moana the live action a 9 out of 10. The only reason why it's
Okay.
not in the 10 out of 10 is because um not nobody from the original cast came back but Dwayne the Rock Johnson. Um, there's nothing wrong with that. Sometimes I understand, but like I just felt it'd been better or whatever like that. Because I believe that sometimes you got to break bread with people or whatever like
Yeah.
that. I would want to break bread with y'all because y'all are my group. You know, so I get Hollywood politics or like that. It's the same thing with the Fast and Furious movies. For a while, he had beef with Vin Diesel, so that's why they had Hobbs and Shaw and all that. He was doing his spinoff or whatever like that. So some people are just probably difficult to work with. But that's my honest rating, and I'm gonna pass it to Chris.
So as you can see, Moana is really big in my house. I think I had to dress as Maui for two separate Halloweens because my daughter is that big of a fan. Like we watched the original movie. I've lost track how many times. So I went into this movie knowing that I'm gonna have to go see it again because, as I mentioned earlier, I just had to pick up my daughter from the airport today. So I'm gonna have to go see it again with her. Um, but as far as the live action versus the animation, this was one of the few movies that apples to apples was almost a mirror image compared to its predecessor. Only a couple of lines may have changed here and there. They might have
Yep.
worded some things differently, changed a little bit, but for the bread and butter of this movie, it's basically the same as the animation. Um, one of my daughter's favorite characters is Hey Hey, the chicken. I have a doll. She has a doll in her room. I would go in there, but I don't. You know, and it's you press a button as soon as you walk past it, it screams at you just like he does in the movie. Like this thing is obnoxious to its core, and he's there. So they get a lot of the same little magical moments that the animation had, but it gives you a different feeling seeing it as real people. And again, it's just a fantasy world, so you're gonna have your CGI and um, Tamatoa, the huge crab. He's actually my favorite character. He's actually voiced by the same person. I can't think of his name off the top of my head, but like that whole little scene, it's done a little differently compared to the animation, but it's still in its essence, it's still the same, and it's still funny. It still hit the same way it did. Um, so I ended up giving this movie for myself a spark. But a lot of times with these especially Disney movies and the movies that are designed for kids, my rating may change based on how my daughter feels. And if she enjoys this the same way that she enjoyed the animated version, then it'll probably increase my rating on it. And then Brian, you mentioned about the whole Moana 3. So there actually is we back when Moana 2 first came out, when they were in production, um, we had did on this show, we had did a the Amazing Comic Con. We talked to a couple of different people from the production team of Moana 2. And what it was Moana 2 was initially supposed to be a Disney Plus show. It was supposed to have been like a 10 episode show or something like that. And then it decided after it was done, they were going to re-edit it into a movie. That's why Lin-Manuel doesn't do the music for the sequel because he said they wasn't going to pay him enough to do music for a TV show versus music for a movie. And so the idea was they were going to have multiple seasons. It was going to be Moana transferring herself into a demigod, and then you'd have like kind of have them go on separate paths. You have Maui's story, you have Moana's story, and so on and so forth. But then they decided to make it back into a movie. The movie made all the money because, it's The Rock and he could have the worst movie ever and it's still going to make money. So um, they decided that they're going to continue making the movies versus making it a show. Now, because Moana does have her demigod powers at the end of Moana 2, and this is not a spoiler. If you guys haven't seen Moana 2 by now, I don't know what to tell you. Um, but the story is supposed to follow her going forward. And then they still may end up doing a Disney Plus show that will follow Maui's story, or maybe even have like spin-off movie where it's just features him and his adventures. I know there was talk about like some of the stuff that he talks about his song "You're Welcome," where he does all the little trials. It's basically like the same trials that Hercules does in Greek mythology. Maybe having
Yep.
something showing those type of things, just to kind of appease Dwayne and his thing, his ego, so to speak. But Disney's Disney. They're gonna they basically have a money press and under Mickey Mouse's castle, and they just print money. So it'll happen eventually. Um, but yeah, I give it a spark. It's worth a watch um, if you can get to it. But it'll break all the streaming numbers when it hits Disney Plus. The final numbers for this weekend. It's projected to make number one in the box office this weekend. So we'll see on Monday how that all plays out and what they actually make. Hopefully they can keep their keep on a rise. Because it's funny, after we did the Supergirl review, they actually had the biggest week 2 drop off of any movie this year. So hopefully this movie will continue to, especially as we get towards, it's still summer. This is the movie that's designed for kids, and there's really not another movie in the next few weeks that could take away from the money that this is going to make from all the families. Like next week we have the Odyssey.
Uh,
Um,
well,
the
maybe
week
Spider
after
Man.
that, but that's not for another 2 weeks. So they still have the rest of this week. Then the Odyssey comes out. That's going to be more for adults.
Yeah,
Then
yeah.
I don't know what comes out in between the Odyssey and Spider-Man. But then Spider-Man comes out, and again, that is a family like it'll be marketed as a family movie, but it's still not necessarily the same target audience. Like you're gonna have more older teenage kids, maybe some younger kids in between the ages of like 7 and 17 in the kids category. But this is Disney's main kid friendly movie until um I don't even know what they have coming up at the end of the summer. They've already made all the money for Toy Story 5, so they don't have to worry about that anymore. So it's competing with itself basically for the next 5 to 6 weeks. So with that being said,
I agree.
for the most part, I mean, we all enjoyed the movie. I know Kateri, like I said, if you watched the original and you liked it, you're more than likely gonna like this too.
I like
Um,
the original. It's really hard for me to watch the live remakes of just all of the Disney movies that they do. I will tell you that The Little Mermaid and Cinderella are by far the best that they've done. And that's it. I mean, I love Aladdin. They really fucked around with Aladdin. I love Jungle Book. They did the same thing with that. I mean, Lion
I
King.
hated Stitch.
Yeah, Lilo and Stitch. Oh my god, I hated that one too. Um,
did you guys watch
The
the
same.
Lady and the Tramp or Dumbo or Pinocchio live actions?
I watched
I
Dumbo. I
watched
hated that
I
one,
watched
and Dumbo
Dumbo as
was
well.
my favorite. I'm just like, so they have only two in my like repertoire of like live action movies that they have done like justice to. And I mean, I love that Moana is getting the representation for such a very small minority of people because that's beautiful, and I love that. and that like they have an age appropriate story to be able to do that. As like far as like indigenous people, Pocahontas is not at all appropriate for them to make a live remake.
No, no, not
So
not at
I mean,
all.
like
It'll
in
be that's a rated R movie.
yeah, no,
Yeah, yeah,
definitely a
yeah,
rated R
yeah.
movie. So, like, for indigenous people, we'll never get that representation in a positive light or an even like true type of representation. So, be it for Moana to have her representation and it be in the way that it is, it's awesome. And for the live action to come out is also awesome because it shows more of like representation. But Disney does not do a great job of selling one of their oldest fans on their live remakes of their movies that they make. And I'm sure that when I watch it, when it comes out on streaming services, it's going to be great. Um, and I will be like, you know what, guys, they did do it decent. I enjoyed certain aspects of the movie, and I'm pretty sure I will. Like just talk, like hearing Brian talk about like the cultural part. I want to hear the singing. I want to see the costumage of like the people there. There are certain things that I would love to see like live action of, but as far as like the whole movie in itself, get CGI, hey hey, out of here.
So it's funny you mentioned representation, specific regards to the indigenous, and all the other races out there. So really, as far as like indigenous people, you only have Pocahontas, right? And then uh, you have like Milan is the Asian demographic. You know, you have all these. I saw an article and it piqued my interest because it talked about all the representation outside of the fairer skin, um, and in regards to black people. And I don't know if either of you have noticed this. Any animation that had a black person as a main character at some point in time in the movie, that character changes their form to something else for the
Yep,
majority of the movie. You look
Yes.
at
yep.
movies like Disney's Soul with Jamie Foxx, which I thought was going to be a great movie. He ends up turning into like this little blob for the most of the movie. You look at Princess and the Frog,
That's all I was just
Tiana
about to
turns
name.
into a frog for the majority of the movie. And you go back and every one of them, they listed a bunch of them. It's like every single one of them, they turn into an animal or a different creature. They switch bodies. And then they even threw in a couple of one of the another indigenous representation, Brother Bear. He starts off as a kid
Yep,
and he ends up
yep.
As a
as
bear.
Coda. He turns into a bear for the majority of the movie, and
Oh,
it's
then he
like,
stays as the bear.
why? Oh yeah, because then they have the sequel. He's still a bear, but
Yeah.
it's like, why do they do that? And will we ever get to a point where you can have a character represent a movie and stay throughout the entire movie? You can do it with Mulan, you can do it with Moana, you can do it with all these other characters, but why is it when it comes specifically to black people and indigenous people that
I,
they have to change their form to, to still be the main character?
I think I got the answer. If you pay attention to certain um history, so like um Black Panther was an excellent movie, and I believe they
Mm,
picked the perfect Black Panther. When Chadwick Boseman. Um, I don't know if y'all know this. I don't know if y'all ever seen it. The movie Gods of Egypt. Really, like, I like the movie. Um, but at the same time, Egyptian people wasn't white. I'm just gonna say that. I'm not racist at all. My wife is white. Um, I got a bunch of white friends and everything like that, so I'm not racist. But in that God of Egypt movie, there's hardly any representation of um of color. Um, the gods was white. The people worshiping the gods was white. Toph, um, Chadwick Boseman played Toph, the god of knowledge, and then even like he was in it or whatever like that. He was pretty much the only reputation. I'm like, okay, but you're talking about Egyptian people. It's the same thing about
Hmm.
Jesus. Jesus was the king of the Jews. Jews was not white, and I explain that to people, but we see it all the time that in images they got Jesus as white. If you find out the real story about Pocahontas, Pocahontas was real. Um,
Hmm.
and I get what Walt Disney did with that one. I wouldn't want to tell the real story of Pocahontas, or whatever like that.
They
Um,
can't. It
yeah,
is
yeah,
virtually
because she was
impossible
raped
to tell
and
that story.
yeah, because she was raped and all that, and based on the real version.
Even this
The
the real
Princess and the
story of
Frog,
Mulan, like I can't tell that story either.
yeah. So like the Princess and the Frog, I liked the movie. I didn't understand about the part of making her like a frog for most of the movie. I didn't understand that. Um, the movie Soul, I definitely didn't like that movie. I'm just gonna say that because there's other animated movies that they have, like Up and everything like that. People don't really change. Um, and it's weird that you said that. Um, I seen on Facebook my friend shared an article about um an artist that was black. And they told him, yeah, you could come here, but you're not gonna make it. He made some of our classic movies that we still watch today on Disney. Um, and they said Walt Disney walked in the room, and Walt Disney said, "I'm gonna keep him." And for many years, he made different movies. He was driving creative behind Toy Story and different stuff like that. When Walt Disney died and they wanted new people, they tried to revoke his badge and said, "Hey, we're gonna force you to retire." His wife worked in you know, administration, HR. She made sure that he still had a way to the room every day because she still worked there. So um she clocked herself in. He walked in with her all the time, and he still did what he did. He draw the characters and everything like that. And he said, this is all I know. Walt Disney gave me a shot when nobody else would. And even then, based on those standards, you know, he didn't get full credit for everything after the fact. Because we all know about segregation and different stuff like that. So I I believe that with some of these movies, we got to take it for what it is. I don't know if there's going to be a live action of The Princess and the Frog. I don't know how
There
you're
will
going to do
be.
Pocahontas. Aladdin was, well, yeah, yeah, Aladdin. I actually liked Aladdin. I know some people have, problems with it. The reason I don't is because it's hard to go behind a legend like Robin Williams and try to step into those shoes. So Will Smith try to make it into what he can make it with without trying to, change who Robin Williams was. Um,
Looks
Oh
like we
no.
lost Brian. I'll
uh,
say
um,
this on. Oh, here he is.
the
Oh no.
And we might lose him again. You're breaking up, Brian. I'll say this, and we'll wrap this up
can
here.
you
As far as the live action Aladdin, I felt like Will Smith, he tried to make the character his own, and he did a good job with what he was given. When you're an actor, you can only go as far as what the writers and the directors had given you to work with, and he did what he could within that scope. However, my main issue with the live action Aladdin was not even Jim, it was Jasmine. I'm sorry. I don't. She's the same girl who played Kimberly Hart in the remake of Power Rangers. I wasn't a fan of her then. I wasn't really a fan of her in Aladdin. And the fact that they gave her not one, but two solos in this movie that wasn't in the original film, that was my problem with it. Take those out, I will enjoy the movie. But I actually fast forward when her songs come up. That's me. On that note, guys, we ran over time a little bit. For the most part, like I said, we all enjoyed Moana movie. Next week, the Odyssey is coming out. I still trying to find tickets. I know it's we'll see how that goes. But you can catch us on our socials, if I'm being honest. And if you want to ever listen to the recap of this episode, you can catch it on YouTube, you can catch it on Facebook, and you can also listen to audio on Spotify, Apple, Google, iHeartRadio, wherever you get your podcast from. And on that note, I will see you guys next week. Before I get off, do you guys have any last words you want to say?
No, I'll think about watching The
No.
Rock. I'll think about it
All
real
right.
hard.
All right, guys. We will see you next week.
I'm pretty tired.
We came, we saw, we kicked its ass.
Think I'll go home now.